Already.
Yes, my people. Yes, 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 we are back. It's been a minute. I think 2 weeks hiatus, but it's been hard to, keep consistent because I wouldn't say that this is a Premier League centric platform, but it is what takes up a lot of our chats. So when there's no Premier League, it's very hard to, get into the groove of things. But before we jump into the next installment, which will be all centered around the AFCON, African football, one of the greatest international tournaments I've seen in a long, long time. So before we jump into it, everybody, please like, subscribe. I think the last video that I dropped with Neo, bro, I think it was sitting on like 300 and something views after like a week or so. I was like, whoa. And consistently, it was on like
Damn.
80, 70. So like
80, yeah,
that
yeah.
Klopp Arteta chat was, I don't know, it got people chatting, I guess. So appreciate it, man. Keep subscribing, keep liking. Let's grow it up. Let's keep the numbers going. Thizo, my bro, how are you doing today?
What's good, my brother? I'm all right, my bro. How are you?
I'm easy, bro. I'm easy, bro. Like I said, today's chat is all about what I think is one of the greatest AFCON tournaments. I haven't really watched AFCON like I have this one. And just international football in general just doesn't get the juices flowing. But man, this tournament has been great,
Hmm.
bro. It's been great. How would you sum it up? Just
Bro,
in a few sentences.
I think for me, I agree with the fact that it's one of the greatest AFCON tournaments we've seen. But I think that over and above that, this is the greatest, one of the greatest international tournaments we've seen, like in terms of the overall quality of play, the goals that we're seeing, the standard of officiating that we're seeing, just as a whole, man, what a great advert for African soccer.
Do you think with Patrice coming there, I think it's just the difference that he's brought, like his president tenure has brought to CAF is very evident to see already.
Mm,
And I don't think he's like even like 2, 3 years into the job. So I think that's good from that point. And also the shift, because I'm not sure, I wanted to do the research on this. But I think it's the first AFCON tournament with like 24 teams, if I'm not mistaken. It's been much
hmm
less. So do you think that might have anything to do with it? Because now it's like now that we're getting teams that are performing as opposed to like individual brilliance. And these teams like Angola, Guinea, that people are thinking like, they're just gonna get slapped up by the likes of Senegal, Egypt, Nigeria, like they're
Yep.
holding their own. And it just goes to show that growing the numbers might people thought it might have diminished or lessened the quality. Instead, it's increased the quality. So I mean, shout out to that. And it's just more
100%.
games, more viewership, more fans. It's just been great.
100%. And I think it's a trend that we're seeing across the board because we're seeing tournaments grow. I mean, if you look at the FIFA World Cup, there's talks around expanding the team numbers and
Mhm.
that. Even from a like domestic league perspective, we're seeing the Champions League will also be moving to a format with more teams in it. So I think that across the board, we're seeing more teams getting involved, and it's great from a like the minnow countries, the smaller countries
Mhm.
that are coming in and showing us just the level of quality that they have, you know. We've already seen a few upsets in this AFCON, which are welcomed. We're seeing teams that are qualifying over the established teams. That's
Yeah.
always nice to see. So long may it continue.
Yeah, long may it continue, bro. And as we're jumping into the chat, I was reading up on a couple of articles pre-tournament where they're like, these are the big stars to watch for in the AFCON tournament. And of course, like the names are there. I just want to run off a few. Sadio Mane,
Sure.
Riyad Mahrez, Osimhen, Mohamed Kudus, Peter Shalulile, Andre Onana, Nicolas Pepe, Sadio Mane, I said Mane, Ziyech, Enesiri, Bissouma.
Yeah.
So, and from these names that I've picked out, I want to get from you. These are high quality players playing in the elites of European football. How many of these players would you say, in your opinion, have been performing, bro, from the ones that I've named? Because I can't really pick out many.
Um, I think for me, the standouts from the list that you just went through now is Sadio Mane. But I think that's also bolstered by the fact that they're the defending champs.
Mm.
Um, and they've looked really solid, like just complete on all fronts. And that probably stems from the fact that they have so much quality. They're used to playing at a high level and they're used to playing together. If you look
Yeah.
at the team um, that they had at the last tournament, the team that they have now, most of that team is the same. There hasn't really been a wholesale changes there. That's always a good foundation to build on. We're still seeing guys like Mendy, Koulibaly putting in solid performances, you know. So that just goes a long way in them looking the way that they do. In terms of everyone else, I think another standout for me, it's unfortunate that his team is out, is
Mm.
Mohamed Kudus.
Ish.
We've seen him really ripping it up in the Premier League, and he brought that exact same form that he had in the past few games in the league to AFCON. He's been lighting people up. He's been such a
Mm.
pleasure to watch. His goal that he scored, I can't remember who they were playing against now recently, um, but it was just like quick feet, really instinctive finish. Like those are the things that you love to see. Everyone else, though, on the list, I think we've seen more disappointments from the big names than we
Hmm.
have standout performances. You gave a list of about 10 names, and off that list, I can only really think of two
Yeah,
that are
two.
really performing at a high level. Everyone else,
Mm.
your Victor Osimhen's, you know, haven't really gotten going. Where yes, he's won a penalty, so we'll credit him with an assist for
Hmm.
that. But that's pretty much his only goal contribution um, in 3 games. Not really prolific as one of the standout players. You look at players like Peter Shalulile, Riyad Mahrez didn't even start um, their second game. Started the last game and he scored in that, but was brought
Now
off
it's going
after half
home.
time. You know, and now he's going home. So you see, I think it's really been unfortunate, but I
Just
think no one has disappointed more
yeah.
than Andre Onana. I think for me that's the standout disappointment because wow, you don't play the first game, you play the second game, it goes terribly. You don't make a save,
Yeah.
and then you're benched for the third game.
Mm.
That's shambles.
I just think, bro, like, just the whole, like, who are his advisors, bro? Like, who's talking into this guy's ear? Like, dog, like, what in your mind thinks, like, when FIFA were like, they had the thing where, like, because Kudus, there was a game where Kudus was supposed to play for Ghana. But that game was on a Monday, right? And David Moyes was like,
Mm,
I'd like to keep Kudus here because we have a game on Monday. So
mm,
players, if you're going to international AFCON or Asia Cup, you have to be gone by the Sunday. West Ham's game is on the Monday. So they're like, guys, is there any workaround around it? The Ghana FA were like, nah, we want our guy. Cheers our guy. They're like, okay, cool, have your guy. But for Onana now to, I
mm,
don't know what it is, bro. Why Samuel Eto'o, the head of the Cameroon FA, thought this was a good idea? Like he's supposed to be like one of your best keepers. Like you got him out of retirement for this specific tournament, right? You wanted him there so that he can
mm,
guide you to it. So now he's like, no, I don't want to go because I want to keep my place with Man United. I want to stay. Only for him to that game that he stayed for, concede 2 goals, then leave, try to make it on time for Cameroon's opening game. You get there probably like hours before the game, and obviously the coach does the right thing and be like, no, we went here for the training. You don't know the tactics, you don't know anything that we've
mm.
planned. You bench. We'll see you next game. Come next game, you do your own nonsense. And then you quite
And
rightly
see
dropped for the third
three
game. But that's why I go back. Like, who's talking to this guy? Bro, go to your country. Your place in Man United will still be there. Just go.
exactly, and it's not like anybody's breathing down your neck to take your place at Man
Nah,
United.
come on.
You know, you are their established number one. I think for me, what we've seen from Onana, and we've seen it from his debut for United,
Mm.
is that he's got this main character syndrome. You know,
Yeah.
he's the guy. You know, and I think that whilst that may serve you well in certain situations, other times it really doesn't, because he made a big deal of how he wants to play United's game
Mm.
and will be there in time for Cameroon's game as well, which is just like, so are you an outlier? Everyone else could have stayed with their clubs as well, played their
Mm.
games and tried to rush. to make it. There's a reason why coaches want their players to come early. They don't just do that for the sake of it. You want to prep for the game, you want to go through
Yeah.
tactics, and you want to be fresh. You know, I think we've seen from Onana that even that game that he was benched, like he was extremely vocal, like on the sidelines, just like,
You're
bro,
the
you're on
backup keeper. Sit, bro.
the bench.
Just
Like,
chill.
sit on the bench.
No,
Nah,
that's
my
real,
nigga's
bro.
got main
That
character
thing,
syndrome, bro. Yo, nah,
which
nah,
clip
nah.
really gets me, bro. There's a clip of him, like I think it was on Sky or whatever network it is on, where he's chatting to this journalist and he's like, so let me get this right. You think the best keeper of the Champions League last year is just a bad keeper now? No ways. And then it goes into a comp of him doing nonsense. And that compilation always ends me, bro. Because you
Back it
can see in
up.
his face.
Back it up.
But man, we
He's
could
like,
go and
bro, you can't be
yeah.
chatting. Back it up.
Yeah, we could go on about Banana, but he just like epitomizes like Africa, everything with Africa. Like I've just seen with this AFCON. It's just so extra. I don't know if you saw there's a guy in Egypt. I don't know what's his name. Let me try and get his name. I had his name here. Yeah, here it is. What's his name? Imam Ashur. He's been ruled out of Egypt's last 16 game with a head injury. Guess how this guy got a head injury? He did a backflip during training, injured his head. Now he can't play the game. It just epitomizes the most African thing that can happen, bro. Like, I don't understand.
I think it kind of speaks to why we're seeing some of these big teams struggle, where I feel like they don't take it with the same level of seriousness that everyone else does.
Mm,
You know, like for them, it's just like we've been here, done that, we've won this before. You know, we don't have to put in all our effort in order
mm.
for us to do well here. And that's why you're doing things like backflips in practice, which can take you out of the game. You know, like,
Yeah,
bro, it's like
true.
take this seriously because if you don't, you're out.
Legit. And if we
That's the
look at
reality of the
now, if we
situation.
look at the people taking it serious and you look at like the top goal scorers of the AFCON so far, number one, the story is just amazing. Emilio Nsue, dog. 5 goals so far in the AFCON, top goal scorer.
Yep.
This guy apparently plays as a right back, right? In the Spanish third division for what? CF Intercity.
Third.
Third division, bro. So now it's like we have a starting striker playing not PSL, not Mutsepe, but below there, and he's starting in the
Yo,
AFCON for SA. So it's just mad, bro. And like even the goals that he's scoring, captain's armband number 10, right at the top. Like it just shows like if you take it serious, then the fruits will show. Then you look at second top goal scorer, Baghdad Buneja, whatever. 3 goals for Algeria, but he's going home. Then you got 3 goals for Mohamed, who plays for Egypt. Um, and then, yeah, we'll go into that. And then you got 8 players on 2 goals. But none of these players, bar maybe Ziyech and a few, were like in the top 10 players to watch. So why do you think it's so that the players that we see performing are not household names, but, grafters, bro?
because they still have something to prove,
Hmm.
you know? I mean, if you're
But,
playing in the Spanish third division as a right back, you're just happy to be on the pitch, bro. And now you come to your
hmm,
country, and now it's like, now I'm here. Now I'm here to prove a point. Like, now I'm home. I may
hmm,
be a scrub out there, but here I'm home. Here I can perform,
hmm,
you know? And I think we're seeing it for me and like with Emilio and Sui, bro. It's the finishes, it's the quality of
hmm,
finish. Like when he's in a position to score, it's not a rushed finish, it's not a lucky finish. You can see that this guy knows what he's doing. He doesn't finish like a right back, he's finishing like a striker, you know?
hmm.
And I think it's because you have that chip on your shoulder, bro. It's just like I'm here to prove something. Like these
Yeah,
guys
and
look like they're trying to prove something. I think
yeah,
for me
and
that's
what a time to go into that vein of form because like I feel like now with everything that's happening with, and there's a lot of African players that are like at the elite level, piano music,
Hmm.
everything. Though there's a lot of center around Africa, bro. Like even now you got people
Yeah.
internationally that are like, yo, man, this tournament is going down. I even saw people like Alan Shearer and them discussing it on their podcast. So it just goes to show, man, I'm really happy to see
Yep.
that. And I just hope that more and more that there was more and more coverage that was being lended to it. So that's why I felt the need to talk about it, especially on this platform, even though we don't have a big platform. I think it's like what 30, 40 subscribers, which doesn't really matter. I just really like the fact that we can watch a tournament and really just be proud of it. And I hope that because the last 16 is going to kick off today. And I just really hope that from
Tonight.
now,
Yeah.
like they take the levels up a notch, bro. I want to see because it felt like towards the end of like the group stages, like I don't want to say we saw less goals, but obviously teams are more nervous because now like things are on the line. Like
Of course.
we have
The
points on the
pressure's
line.
on. Yep.
If we mess up, we go home. So I can get that. So now I just want to see. I want to see them play with more freedom, like more expressive. I don't want this that like the usual like when I picture African AFCON in my mind, I just picture like under 2 goals, like both teams not scoring. Yes, but now I'm like I just like seeing like the high flying tackles and bro, Africans are huge. Yo, Thizo, bro, man, bro, these guys are huge.
Yep.
There was this guy, so I don't know what he said, what country he's playing
Massive.
for, man. But I know that it was a game where it was a 3-3 draw. Then this guy, the way he was celebrating me hitting his hand here. I looked at his arm, bro. Like, I was like, how are you a footballer? Such a huge arm. What's going on here? Yeah, man. Like you can't play that tournament if you're a
Yeah.
baby, bro. Men are crunching there.
Absolutely. And you're seeing it like, for example, South Africa doesn't have the biggest
Mm,
team, right, physically.
mm, mm.
And you can see teams trying to impose themselves
Yeah,
physically on us because they immediately identify that actually these
yeah.
guys are relatively small. I mean, you look at your Percy Taus, you look
Mm,
at your Temba Zwanes, it's just like they're silky ballers, but they're not like
yeah.
imposing physically.
True. But I feel like
Yeah, no, no, no. South Africa, I mean,
with the
Africans are
South
really
Africa
good.
with the South Africa thing, I like the fact that well, firstly, I didn't like it, but I see why. That the squad is so filled with Sundowns players. Sundowns players have a lot of experience playing in the CAF. They've went, had problems with referees in CAF and what Champions League. So they know, bro. And even though we are relatively smaller, I can see that sometimes we play like the first game that we lost in where Mali beat us.
Hmm,
We played the better football, but I could hear in the when Ronald Williams was
100%.
speaking in the press conference, like guys, sometimes we don't have to play beautiful football. We know we can, but sometimes we just need to get the
Mm.
job done, and that's what they went on to do in the second game. But it's not about South Africa. This is about every African country. Just to move on from
Yep.
that, one point that we touched on in the beginning that I am 100% really proud of, and I need to state this unequivocally and loudly and boastfully that the AFCON referees have been nothing short of amazing. I like the fact that I can't come to you and name
Yep.
one contentious decision that I've named. How many games have we seen? We've seen there's four groups of four. How many matches is that, Thizo? We've seen countless of games. So how is it that such a minnow in continental football like Africa have such a smooth running. And
Mhm.
it's only just before halfway through the tournament goes that we haven't seen any contentious and we've seen contentious things happen, but they get to the right decision. So what
Mm.
does this have to say about
Yep.
the scale of football in general?
I think for me, and I could be wrong in saying this, but I genuinely feel like with this AFCON, it's really just been about the football. It's
Mm,
not been about the stars. It's not been about the media. It's not been about the narrative. It's been football first, you know? And I feel like even the referees are aligned with that. It's just like they're looking at the football, they're watching the football.
yeah.
It's just like, I don't care who you are, I don't care what the fans are saying. Like, let's play football. And I think for me, there was no better example than that, of that than the Ivory Coast versus Equatorial Guinea game,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where the referees could have like succumbed to the pressure that was from the fans with those offside goals. And yes, VAR would have come in and corrected it, right? But the linesman could have said, no, he's onside. He's onside,
Mm.
give the goal. No, but they comfortably, they're not afraid to raise the flag and say, look, he's off, and go and confirm it with VAR. You may not like it,
Mm-hmm.
but he's off, you know? Like the referee officiated that game so well. And look, you never want to see the host nation humiliated in the fashion that Ivory Coast were.
Mm.
But fortunately for them, they're still in the tournament, so they have a chance to set that right. But for the like in terms of the officiating in that game, top level, the officiating we've seen in all the games. You rightly said there hasn't been a contentious decision throughout the tournament. When was the last time we could say that? When last did you
Yeah.
watch a number of football games and referees aren't a talking point? VAR isn't a talking point. It's just the football.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't even know what to say about it because it's really something. The one where the one that makes me laugh, I'm just there about it, was the game Gambia against Cameroon. Do you see the 3-3 goal, the handball? If not for VAR, bro, that's a goal. Because in my mind, when I watch that live, I'm like, goal. And then they play the first replay. I'm like, it's not. And then they slow it down. I'm like, this guy, even the way he went off to celebrate, I was like, my guy, you can't
Yo,
celebrate like this.
celebrated hard. For
This
me,
VAR.
that was the craziest part. Like, you can't celebrate like that, knowing very well what you've done, bro. Like, nah, nah, nah. The
Yeah,
celebration
but
was the
for me,
craziest.
some of the stuff that have went on, like, is this crazy? Even now, with you mentioning Ivory Coast still in the tournament, these guys thought they were out, fired their coach, only for them to now go through as one of the third best placed teams. Now they don't have a coach, and the rumor is they want to go to the French FA to get the French women's coach, which is what's his name again? That guy looks like a porn
If,
star, bro.
if nah.
Then that guy, that guy. So now they want to loan him for the rest of the tournament to pull up and coach Ivory Coast, which he has previously. I think he has previously coached them. He won the AFCON with them, no?
Yeah, he has.
Yeah. So do you
Yep, he's
think
won the
this is?
AFCON twice, so he's
Do
got an
you
established.
think this is something that is possible and could happen? This is Africa. Anything is possible, to be honest.
Yeah, look, I think so. I think there's a strong possibility that it can happen. Um, and I also think for the
Why?
host nation to lose in the manner, for them to lose in the manner that they did, they needed a response. And unfortunately, in soccer, the first person, or in sports in
Mm,
general, the first
yeah.
person whose head rolls when things are bad is unfortunately the coach. So it may seem rash that they did it in the tournament, but you have to change something after losing 4-0. And remember that Equatorial Guinea aren't like historically, they haven't been a superpower, you
Mm,
know? They wouldn't I wouldn't even consider them underdogs. They were like a
mm,
non-factor coming into
yes.
the tournament. So for you to get not just lose to them, but to lose
But
4-0 to
and it
them,
could have been six. Oh,
it easily could
oh.
have. It easily could have. For you to lose like that, something has to happen because there has to be a psychological shift,
Mm.
you know. So this tournament just keeps setting trends, bro. I've never heard of a coach loan mid tournament.
Mid tournament, this man. I hope it comes off, but I just want to see how that
Mid.
pans off, bro. So yeah, it's just as we wrap it up, bro. I think as two South Africans, we'd be remiss to not speak of the game against Morocco. What is your opinion on that game? And because I feel Morocco are one of the favorites, based on the quality of the players. But watching them, I don't get that. It's
Hmm.
like for me, it's like when I'm watching in club football, when I'm watching Bayern type of thing. Even to some extent, when I'm watching Liverpool, right? Watching the game, I'm like, but then more often than not, when the game reaches 90 and the blue whistle is blown, they would have either won or even drawn. It's very rare that they're losing. So do you
Mhm.
think, I think if I stand corrected, but we, South Africa, are the last ones to beat Morocco, like in an exhibition match. Do you think we have a chance to replicate that now in a tournament where our players, as good as they are, it's not a Hakimi, it's not a Yusuf and Nesiri, it's not a Hakim Ziyech, it's not a Amrabat. You know, these are top quality players, bro. Do you think we have it in us to
Mm.
to to do it?
Yep, I do.
Mm,
But I think, like we've seen in all our games, when we take our chances, we're like we stand in good stead to win the game. When we don't, we could find ourselves in a situation where we draw like our last game 0-0,
mm,
or where we lose like against Mali. That game could have gone very differently if we take our chances.
mm,
So I genuinely think that how we play is good enough to get us further than the round of 16, to get us past Morocco, particularly with how they're playing as well. Um, I definitely think we have the quality to. It's just about, do we take our chances when
yeah.
they arise?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I genuinely think we need to score first. I feel like we need to score first, and then because our defense, bro, Mvala, Mudau, Mutiba, it's just good guys, bro. You know what I mean? Like these guys know their stuff. They know their stuff,
Solid.
right? Solid, right? Not may not be the biggest, but they
Yeah.
know their stuff. I feel like we really need to score first, and then put them under pressure. That's gonna make them come out. When they come out, I have a feeling their players are gonna snatch at
Oh,
things a lot. The crowd, there's gonna be a lot of Moroccans, the crowd is gonna be on them. And then we can just get them on the counter, score again, wrap it up there. Maybe a nice 2-1, get in and out. That's how I'd like for it to go. But man, when I see that starting lineup for Morocco, that's when I just know that I'm like, yo, I don't know how we won't do it, but we need to do it. So if we play like a team, as we did previously, and we take our chances, because we need to take our chances. We don't get a lot of chances. It's very rare for us to win 4-0. So when we get our chances, we make a lot of half chances. That's the thing with Hugo Brewer's team. We know how to play, we can make half
mm,
chances, but for us to make that big chance where it's like 1v1 with the keeper type of thing, we don't really get those a lot. So I'm hoping we can just capitalize on whatever chances that we
yeah,
have because, man, if we give Morocco a sniff, bro, the quality can just take over.
100%. And I think, in terms of like tactics, you summed it up well when you said we have to score first. It forces them to come out.
Mm,
And I think we have one of the most devastating counter
mm,
attacks in the league, with the amount of pace that we have,
mm.
you know, quality on the ball and pace. And that's exactly what you need in a counter. So yeah, have to score first if we're gonna beat Morocco.
And then let's wrap it up with the predictions, bro. Who do you think is gonna win it? The whole thing.
Senegal. I think Senegal have to be front runners. I think, based on how they play, the team that they have, how they've played in this tournament, like, these guys look primed, bro. Like, you struggle to see a vulnerability in them.
Yeah, bro. Like, man, I'm trying to bring up the squad now, bro. Like, if I can just name, I'm just gonna name the starting 11, bro. Edward Mendy. Okay, this guy, Ishmael Jacobs. I don't know this guy. Do you know him? Ishmael Jacobs plays for Monaco. Plays for Monaco.
Yep.
Okay. Khalidou
Hmm.
Koulibaly, Abdoulaye
Um,
Seck. You know
yeah.
Abdoulaye Seck. I don't know Abdoulaye Seck, but he plays in Israel. Kefren
Yep.
Diatta, Idrissa Gana Gueye, Nampalis Mende, Pap Mate Sarr, Ismaila Sarr, Sadio Mane. Hey man, like yo, like this is a squad, my guy. This is a squad. Cheku Kuyate, yo, Iliam Diaye, bro. Nicholas Jackson is even struggling to get in there. He's not that good, but in the scale of African football, he's very good. So man, like it's very hard for me. Like I have to agree with that, bro. Like this team is complete. And when I actually name them, I feel like these guys have been playing. This is probably like their third tournament where a majority of them are playing together. So it even shows when they play. Like they're so calm. Like they just know. They
Yes.
just know.
Yep.
But otherwise,
Yeah, I struggle to see a better team, bro.
yeah, it's what do you make of Nigeria, bro? Especially with Osimhen, because I asked this because before we wrap up, like I asked this because of he is being touted for the next big striker move, like one of the biggest, I'd say,
Hmm.
in world football right now. If you're looking for a striker and you got money to burn, right? That it's very hard to look beyond Osimhen. But is there a chink in the armor? Do you think it's hype? Because he had an amazing season last year. But if you look at it, he had injuries here and there. This season hasn't been the best. And apparently he came out and said that he knows his next move. He knows where he's going. It's just up to him to decide when he's going to say it. And he said, I love the Premier League, blah, 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 blah. Being a Guna and watching this tournament, having watched Osimhen, do you still ascribe to the opinion that we need to get this guy in, or do you think there's still questions about him in general?
Um, for me, I'm for it because the things that he does really well, like his movement is insane. Like it's second to none. Like the runs, the quality of runs that he's making, his ability to like receive the ball, his ability in the
Mm,
air. My gosh, I think it's just a matter of he hasn't shone because of the rest of the team and the level of service that he's gotten.
mm,
I think one thing about Osimhen is if he's getting quality service, more often than not he'll perform. You know, um, and I think Nigeria don't have a set 11, which is also
mm,
very difficult when you're playing in a tournament if you're going to be chopping and changing. Because you look, for example, in their game against, I think it was Cameroon, right?
mm,
Uh, I think that's like when they won that game, it's yes, Osimhen played a part, but like for me, it was like Ademola Lookman
mm,
was really a great standout player. Then in
mm.
the very next game, he doesn't play.
He doesn't
Like he
play.
doesn't start, you know? So it's just like I don't really get that. I think that when a
I
player's
think,
hot, let
yeah.
him play. Even Iwobi was
Mm,
really nice in that game. Very next game doesn't start. It's just like, okay, so what metric are we using? Are we adapting our
mm,
team based on who we're playing, or is it the best players that are playing the best,
mm.
like in this tournament? Are they the ones that are going to play? I think if
Yeah.
Nigeria adapted that approach, they'd be better for it.
I agree. I have to agree with that. I think the coach suffers. I think the coach suffers from having too many options, especially up front. Because even if you look pre-tournament, when you had all the players, I think the injuries have even helped them. Because I remember watching a game
Mm,
pre-tournament, bro. This guy had four number nines across his front four. He played Osimhen, he played Boniface, he played Awonyi, and
yeah.
then he played. There was some other guy. There's another striker for Nigeria, man. The name is slipping me. But he genuinely played four number nines. Like, I'm not talking wingers or what, number nines. He played four number nines across the front four. I think they even drew or lost that game. And I was like, bro, you've got Chukwueze, you've got Iwobi, you've got Lookman, you've got players that are capable of
Yeah.
playing on the wings, but you're trying to shoehorn Boniface, Osimhen, who are great, great strikers, but you can't shoehorn them in. So now this tournament, I feel like it helped them because Boniface is injured, Awoni is injured. He knows now I can just play Osimhen up front. But the changes around Osimhen also don't really help him because 1 minute he's playing, like you said, with Lookman, then he's playing with Iwobi,
Yeah.
then he's playing with Chukwueze. Like it's just it is a very funny one because they have the talent, bro, and Nigerians are allowed. I say that respectfully. Nigerians are allowed about their team because it's a quality team, and I just don't know why they seem to be struggling, so to speak, and not like because I think they should be one of the favorites, but just looking at the team, I feel like the coaching staff, whether it's the team itself, the mixture that they chose for the tournament, I don't know why something's just not cutting there, man.
Hey man, but the big teams historically,
Mm,
big teams know when to show up. let's hope that that's also
True.
going to be the case now that we're going into the knockout stages. Let's see if the
Yeah.
big guys that made it through step up, and step it up a level.
Yeah, that's true, man. Otherwise, man, Thizo, my bro, it's been a pleasure. I'm Thebe. This is the football bias. Everybody, please like, subscribe, comment, engage, share, do all of that, do all of that, and please keep watching the AFCON. You know,
All
when you
off.
see when you see the goals, share them. They must see that we are proud of this tournament, bro. And I'm just happy to see it. And I hope, man, may it long flourish. I don't want to see no contentious decisions. VAR must be clean. You know what I mean? Mutsepe at the end must hold his head up high, hosted a great ass tournament, and
Yep.
everything should just go as smooth as it has so far. Otherwise, Thizo, it's been a pleasure, man. Have a good weekend. Stay safe and everything, bro.